Good.
Yes,
It's
on
there.
Instagram. Yeah.
Yay. Okay.
This.
All right. So, hello. This is the beauty of live social media. I am your Norfolk Senator, Angela Williams Graves, and it is an absolute honor to be with you today on What's Up Wednesdays. So, you all know last month we did this and we did it in a very controlled environment. We did it with, a recording because I was in Richmond for Reconvene last month. And so we are here working feverishly to get our Instagram and Facebook all started so that we can we can bring you What's Up Wednesdays live for the very first time today, which is Wednesday, May 15th. So how is everybody doing? I hope you guys are doing well. I hope that everybody is safe and happy and enjoying life and enjoying whatever this weather is that we have. It's sunny one day and it is springtime another day, and it is like we need a sweater, right? So don't put your winter stuff away yet, because we never know from one day to the next what the temperature will bring. So I am your Senator Angela Williams Graves, representing the 21st Senatorial District, where we are doing good work on your behalf. The 21st Senatorial District is an all Norfolk Senate district. It encompasses about 95% of the city of Norfolk. And welcome to our very first live What's Up Wednesday. So if this seems a little discombobulated, it is. But I am really excited to be here with you. I hope that you will find our time together insightful, beneficial, and I hope that you leave with a little bit more knowledge and understanding of what it is that we do in the Virginia General Assembly. And I hope that you will find it so intriguing and so wonderful that you will come back and you will join us next month in the third Wednesday in June. So originally, again, we were scheduled to be in Richmond. Originally, they told us we would have the budget on Monday and it has to sit for 2 days. And then we vote for it on Wednesday. But we got the budget done. Our fabulous conferees got the budget done. And we were able to get in and out. Well, not really in and out. We were there all day, but we were able to get in and out on Monday and get the budget done. So now we've got 30 minutes together and I want to honor your time. I appreciate you being here. So let's get to it. I want to highlight a couple of things for you. And I'm always going to give this information because we have new people who are joining us all of the time. And then this replays. So did you know 911 is for emergencies and 411 is for everything else. But specifically to the city of Norfolk, there is a call center for Norfolk Cares. And that number is 664-6510. 664-6510 is the number to the call center in the city of Norfolk. And you can call that number for anything. If your trash didn't get picked up, if you want to report a pothole, if there's a dead dog in the road, if you want to report a code violation, anything of that sort, you can report to Norfolk Cares. They will give you a tag number. You can follow up on the item. You can do whatever. You can get a result from it and know that your request or your complaint has been documented and that someone is following up. Even if it's a simple call of like, I don't know where to ask for this, or I don't know how to get that, they can help you there. They're really, really great. Any non-emergency issue, you can call 664-6510 and they will help you. So the other part of live streaming is formatting. So I wanted to give you this cute little graphic for the Bayou Bon Vent at Town Point Park. Okay. But I didn't format it properly, so we can't get it up on the screen today. However, if you all remember the Bayou Boogaloo, this is very similar. The Bayou Bon Vent is happening this weekend, May 17th through 19th in Town Point Park. Indulge in the flavors of New Orleans at the Bayou Bon Vent, which is a 3-day celebration of tastes, tunes, and traditions of the Crescent City. From juicy handfuls of crawfish to world-renowned New Orleans jazz musicians, the Bayou Bon Vent captures a vibrant spirit of Louisiana and transforms it into a weekend-long party at Town Point Park on the downtown Norfolk waterfront. So if you don't have any plans this weekend after our next event, go on down to Waterside, go on down to Town Point Park. You'll have a great time in with the Bayou Bon Vent. And then so I do have this piece, right? The last event that I want to share with you this weekend, it is our 3rd annual Women's Her Story Brunch. And I am so excited because we have a wonderful array of panelist speakers that are going to be with us. And then we have a great young lady who is an assistant principal over at Norfolk Public Schools that's going to bring us a keynote address. And we're just going to have a really good time talking about being women of faith in the workplace. No matter what your faith is, we live our lives according to our faith, and we take that to work with us every single day. And so we're going to talk about things like, is it appropriate to pray for people in the workplace? Is it appropriate to have Bible study in the workplace? What happens when people in the workplace get on your last available nerve? How do you handle that? And as a woman of faith, and I had someone ask me, can men come? The answer is absolutely. Men can come, because this is really not only is it about being a woman of faith in the workplace, but it really will encompass a conversation about simply being people of faith in the workplace. So no matter what your faith, join us. My team did not take down the early bird special. So you still have the opportunity to get your early bird tickets in the link. If you go to norfolksenator.com, you can get the link. You can click on the link and you can get your $40 early bird tickets for Saturday. We are really excited. I'm excited to have you and to have our 3rd annual event. So here's the deal. Today's chat, we're going to talk about an update on the budget. I want to give you my position on RGGI funding. And I want to start having a conversation about the big picture. The big picture is what do we do? What do we do as legislators? What are our responsibilities? What do we get paid? A lot of people think we get rich in this job, and you will find out that we do not. And so the goal is to provide you an overview of the Senate and the House of Delegates, because I have served in both, and answer any questions that you may have. All right, so let me scoot on over here. All right. Thank you, Matthew, for putting in the Norfolk Cares number. I really appreciate that. Mr. Matthews, Lee Matthews, thank you for putting that in. So here's the thing. Everybody's talking about the budget. Where are we with the budget? Where is the money? So we passed a budget on Monday. The Commonwealth of Virginia requires that we are a balanced budget state. We cannot do what Congress does with all these continuing resolutions and never really balancing our budget. So we spend what we make, and if we make more than we have allotted to spend, that's a surplus. And if we find our revenue projections are lower mid-year next year than what we projected, then we know we're going to have a shortfall, and we have to make some adjustmts in what we spend. Everything has a cost to it in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And so we just want to make sure that you all are aware. So here's what we have. We have a $169 billion budget. That's billion with a B, $1 billion budget. And Norfolk got $5 million in funding for its low-income schools. We have Title I schools. We got $5 million in funding for low-income schools. We have $507 million for Norfolk State over the course of the next 2 years. That's throughout the course of the biennial budget. And then $1.3 billion with a B for Old Dominion. And before y'all start with me that Norfolk State didn't get billions, they only got millions. This includes the Old Dominion EVMS merger. And so that's 1.3 billion for Old Dominion, including the merger. And that is over the course of 2 years, over the course of the biennial. We got $1 million to create an Office of Resiliency. That's very important because our the city of Norfolk is great. We're very forward thinking. We've had an Office of Resiliency for a very long time, but there are some cities who don't. There are some localities that don't have the funding for it. And there are a lot of different pieces of the resiliency puzzle, I should say, that are playing out in various areas, whether it's state, whether it's grants, whether it's federal funding. And we need somebody in the Commonwealth of Virginia that is solely dedicated to looking for that money and making sure that it is being applied properly so that Virginia is a resilient Commonwealth. And let's see, what else do we have? $25 million in the first year. I know some of y'all are disappointed, but 25 million is really better than no million. Think about it like that, right? Bird in the hand, 25 million, better than bird in the bush, no millions. And that is for our coastal storm risk management project. And so we've got 25 million in the first year's budget. The beauty is that ideally and hopefully we will have a surplus in this 2-year budget. We will come back next year in the General Assembly and we will do more budget amendments where we can spend that surplus. And the city of Norfolk has an annual budget, so they will be able to make the appropriate adjustments to spend those funds. And then there's over $100 million in the budget for toll relief. And that's a big deal because we have a lot of people who live in Norfolk and work in Portsmouth, and we have a lot of people who work in Portsmouth and who live in Portsmouth and work in Norfolk, and they are traveling back and forth. I mean, I go to church. I belong to church in Portsmouth, and so I go at least once a week to my church in Portsmouth. Hey, Berkeley Beacon Light Civic League, how y'all doing? So that's a big deal. So everybody didn't get everything they wanted, but I think we came out on the right side. So here's the thing on Reggie, and I wrote this statement, I rewrote this statement. I wanted to make sure that it conveyed my sentiments, but also that it respected all of your opinions and not just your opinions, but your concern for the environment and for Reggie. And so I'm going to read this to you. I'm probably going to make some interjections here, but I'm going to read this to you because, like I said, I just wanted to be intentional with the language that I used so that it wasn't just willy-nilly. All right. I don't like doing things just willy-nilly. And so it goes like this. I want to thank each person who reached out to my office. I really, really do. I appreciate you. I'm always happy to receive information on where constituents stand on the issues, not just Reggie, but on any issue. While I respect and understand your concerns about Virginia's participation in the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative, as legislators, we have to balance multiple priorities at once. Virginia's entry into Reggie was established by law. We voted on it. Governor Northam signed it into law. And I appreciate personally the importance of upholding the law. However, our current governor feels a little differently, and he has decided that he's not going to abide by the law because he doesn't like it. I mean, we should all be so lucky, right, that we don't have to abide by the law because we don't like it. Anyway, I'm going off script here. The current governor has decided to remove Virginia from Reggie, which has resulted in a viable lawsuit for Virginia against the administration for Virginia to rejoin Reggie and conform to the law. And so that is very, very important. As your senator, my team and I are closely monitoring the situation being the lawsuit, to make sure that we are acting in your best interest. And I am also committed to ensuring that in all of this, that our state budget was not held hostage by Reggie. I support rejoining Reggie, but understand this, y'all. If the governor if he doesn't respect the law as it is, right? He certainly is not going to respect budget language that says we have to rejoin it. And he was very, very clear in budget negotiations that he was not going to sign a budget that had RGGI language in it. And so we really came a long ways when it came to the budget and when it came to all of the things that were priorities for us. And we just could not hold the budget hostage. All the people who work for us, the possibility of shutting down the Commonwealth, all the folks that we, have to pay bills to, and all the projects that we have, we just could not hold that hostage for RGGI. And the budget and the governor wasn't going to sign the budget, and he has to. So thank you for understanding that this was not a decision that any of us took lightly. And please know that I am committed to serving the needs of all of my constituents fairly and equitably. It is worth noting there is a bright side to this. There's an old church song that said there's a bright side somewhere. There's a bright side to this, and that is the governor has about a year and a half in office. And given the way things move through the courts, it is more than likely that by the time there is a resolution in the courts, that the governor will be gone, and we will have a Democratic governor in office, and that Democratic governor will re-enter us into RGGI. So I just want to let you know, we're paying attention to it. We hear you, we feel you, we understand you. As Delegate Glass would say, we over-understand you on RGGI, and we do realize the importance of it. But, we've just got to do what we've got to do and make sure that we are doing things that are comprehensively balanced as it pertains to the budget. So here's the thing. I got a couple of things I want to go through with you, and I want to leave a few minutes for you all to ask questions if you have any. I'm just making sure I'm not missing any questions here. On that you might have, but I want to talk to you a little bit about what I call the big picture. So we'll have the big picture part 1, we'll have the big picture part 2, depending on where we go and how we get through all this. We may even have a big picture part 3. But I want to give you a little bit of an overview for those of you who don't know what we do and how we do it in the General Assembly. It's important to note that the Constitution of Virginia outlines the powers of the Virginia General Assembly, and those powers cannot be overridden by any governor or any one branch of government. We are 3 co-equal branches of government. We have the House, we have the Senate, and we have the administration. And we are all co-equal branches of government. So I want to help you, just give you a little bit of information on what we do. The Senate has 40 members. Each senator representing about 250,000 residents, right? So I have approximately 200 to 224,000 people in the city of Norfolk that I represent. Out of 48 precincts in the city of Norfolk, I represent the residents that reside in 43 of them. And I really just say I represent the city of Norfolk because, 5 precincts, our office will help anyone that is a resident of the city of Norfolk. The House of Delegates has 100 members, each representing about 80,000 constituents each. So there's more of them than it is of us. We run in the Senate every 4 years, and the House runs every 2 years. How do we get paid? You're going to love this part. Members of the General Assembly are considered part-time legislators. Yep, part-time. That's what they consider us according to the Constitution. We are considered part-time legislators, and members who are not retired generally work a job. We usually have 1, 2, or 3 jobs. Some of us own businesses. I personally am a real estate broker. I own my own real estate firm, Homes by Angelo Realty Company. So shameless plug. If you're looking to buy or sell a home, give us a call. And then others are also self-employed. And we've got folks who do everything from financial planning, who are attorneys, who we actually have some school teachers that are in the legislature. legislature. We've got prosecutors that are in the legislature. We've got a full variety of folks. We've got dentists in the legislature. So we've got a full variety of people who are working in the legislature. And that's really good because it brings a wealth of knowledge and experience to various bills. And we'll talk about that in just a little bit. Members of the Senate are paid $18,000 a year. Yes, $18,000 a year. You heard that right. Members of the House of Delegates are paid slightly less, $17,640 a year. We are paid a per diem and mileage when we are in session. Okay, so we do most of the time like live in Richmond when we're in session, and we are paid a per diem for that, and we are paid mileage reimbursement when we have to come up to session for meetings. And then we are allowed to participate in the state's medical health insurance plan at the same rate that state employees do. And that's a real benefit because y'all know how much insurance costs. And so it's that is a benefit for the time that we sacrifice, because we may be part-time legislators, but we are dealing with full-time issues. And so that's a great benefit. And then we're also able to participate in VRS, which is the Virginia Retirement System. Okay, so we're able to participate there also, which is very helpful because we're going to age and we're not going to be able to work. And so we want to have a little something for retirement. Then the most important thing, well, not the most important thing, but I think it's important to note, a lot of people think that this happens and it doesn't happen. It is important for you to know that we do not get raises when we vote for raises for state employees. We do not. So the same $18,000 that we made last year is the same $18,000 that we're going to make this year, is the same $18,000 that we're going to make next year. We do not get a raise. So when we vote for state employees to get a 3% raise, like we did in this budget, that's another thing that was in the budget. State employees got a 3% raise for both years of the budget. So did teachers get a 3% raise for both years of the budget. Our part-time legislators do not get a raise. Now, do we get a staff? Yes, we do. We have great staff. We have House of Delegates gets one staffer for their offices, and some of them pay out of their campaign accounts for a second staffer. My office as a senator, we get two staffers, and we can supplement their employment because we want to have good people who are going to be able to be responsive, and it is their full-time job to respond and to be present and to represent our office well. So we want to be able to pay them well so that we get good people so that they represent. I don't know what people do in other localities, but I want to make sure that the people in Norfolk are represented well. And so that's what our office it includes. That's a big picture of kind of like what we do. So now I want to talk to you a little bit about our responsibilities, and I'm not going to be able to get through all of this in the next 8 minutes, but we'll come back next month and we'll talk a little bit more about what the responsibilities are. But our basic responsibility is to legislate, right? Our basic responsibility, as outlined by the Constitution of Virginia, is to legislate. We craft, repeal, and amend the laws of Virginia. Ideally, we do that to make lives better and to create equity and to create a better life for our constituents. So you may say, how do you do that? If we find some of our best ideas for legislation from constituents, we also talk to constituent groups. We talk to special interest groups. And I want you to understand something about special interest groups. Special interest groups are just people who have come together collectively over an issue, and they bring their concerns to their legislators to work through either bringing new laws that are beneficial or amending laws that are on the books that need tweaking to bring them into the 2024, what are we, the 21st century, 22nd century, whatever century we're in, bringing those in, or we can repeal the law because it just may be outdated. Okay, so our primary responsibility is legislating. In session, we have committees. We have committees that are designed to vet bills that are introduced. Once a bill is assigned to a committee, it may also go to a subcommittee. That's where a deeper dive is taken for those bills that come through the legislature. And so I serve on a couple of committees. I am appointed to the Committee on Local Government, which is one that I absolutely love, because y'all know I came from city council and I love local government. I am appointed to the Committee on Transportation, the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources. And that is the committee I thought I was not going to like. It absolutely ends up being one of the most interesting opportunities for me to learn on a variety of topics in agriculture, conservation, and natural resources. And then the last committee that I serve on is Rehab and Social Services. And I'm also appointed to the ABC subcommittee from that committee. So we do a lot in session. And this year was our long session. It was 60 days. Next year will be the short session. It will be 45 days. And we do a whole lot during session. But just understand that, because we're not going to get to the rest of this today. But just understand that we're working on your behalf all year round. And if you have ideas about legislation, probably in June, when we come back together in June and July, we're going to talk more about the big picture and what it is that we do. But we're also going to talk about how a bill becomes a law. And so if you have ever run across a situation where something has been denied to you because someone said, well, that's the state law, and you say, oh, well, how do we change it? Ooh, 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 ooh. I'm here to help you. I can't guarantee you that we'll change it. But what I can guarantee you is that we'll take a look at the law. We'll look at all of the unintended consequences of the law, your practical lived experience with that law, and work to see how we might be able to change it. We might be able to tweak it, how we may be able to amend it so that it is more user friendly to the vast majority of people in the Commonwealth of Virginia. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to come up to give me any questions that you might have. We've got like 3 minutes left, and I'm very, very, very conscious of your time to make sure that we are staying on course. You all are committing 30 minutes to me, and I want to make sure that I am utilizing that 30 minutes to the very best of my ability. So if you have questions, I want to make sure you can post them in the StreamYard chat, and I can answer them. Our office also has constituent services, and that's kind of the softer side of legislating. Our contact information, you'll see it at the very bottom of the screen scrolling across, where you can reach out to my office if you have issues, concerns, things of that nature. We're happy to answer. We work really hard to be responsive to your needs and responsive to your concerns. We may not always have the answer, but what we will do is we will find it for you. And so I am really excited to have spent this time with you. Thank you, Lee. I am excited about doing this. Little nervous, right, at first to do it, but I'm really excited about the opportunity to interact. This is our first live. So we do have a few tweaks a few kinks in the road to knock out so that we can get questions. And if there's anything that, let me see here, do I have anything that folks are asking in our Facebook Live portion of the chat to see if I can get any of your questions answered, because we're here to be a resource. We're here to help. And hopefully by the time we come back to you next month on the third Wednesday in June, we would have had some of our tweaks, our kinks worked out, and we'll be able to pick up and talk to you a little bit more about the big picture, what we do, some of the external things that we do. We talked about what we do during session, but like, what do we do after session, and how do we continue to make a difference in our communities after we come back from Richmond. So let me see. I've got to remind you to join us next month. I am looking for my notes here to just make sure that I have everything I'm supposed to remind you of. Join us next month, the third Wednesday in June. And did you hear me correctly? 5 million. Yes, that is 5 million to the city of Norfolk for Norfolk Public Schools. So that is going directly to our Title I and low income schools. And then it is your responsibility as constituents to make sure that you're holding the school board accountable for how they are using those funds. All right. Because one of the things I do want to say, and we're at 30 minutes and 46 seconds, is that General Assembly members are not the boss of City Council. We are not the boss of Norfolk Public Schools. We are not the boss of those other duly elected officials and elected offices. So when we send money to the city of Norfolk and we send money to Norfolk Public Schools, it is their responsibility. It is your responsibility as a constituent to get with your city council members and your school board members and let them know how you want to see those funds used, and find out what their plan is, see where you all meet together and agree, and then give them some ideas and suggestions about how you would like to see those funds used. So yes, $5 million. So thank you all for joining us. We're at 31 minutes and 31 seconds. I want to remind you, as I always do, that you are a walking, talking, living, breathing miracle. And if nobody has told you that they love you today, your senator absolutely loves you, and she thinks that you are the bomb.com. I will see you next month.